It's fight week, and we have the PBC's first card of the year. It's a pay per view in America. Boy, I feel sorry for you, man, in America, boy. I think to pay for these mediocre fights, man. I mean, David Benavidez versus David Morrell. I wouldn't say it's totally mediocre. It's a good fight, but it's definitely not pay per view worthy. What is pay per view worthy? We will discuss that in a different video, but right now we're just going to talk about this fight. David Benavidez is a former two-time WBC champion at the super middleweight division. He lost the belt twice for reasons other than actually losing in the ring. We're not going to talk about that now. We'll talk about that at a later date. Right now, we're going to talk about the fact that he's moved up to light heavyweight. And David Morrell was also at super middleweight, wanted to fight David Benavidez. So when David Benavidez moved up to light heavyweight, David Morrell followed him, still chasing the fight. And now they've got to this fight. It's like a title eliminator. Apparently, if David Benavidez wins this fight, he then goes on to fight the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't know if it's the same for David Morrell. I'm assuming it's the same. But let's talk about this particular fight. I used to think that David Morrell, even though he's only a novice as a pro, 11 fights in, I really was thinking that he was the one that was going to beat David Benavidez when they were both at super middleweight. But when they've moved up to light heavyweight now, I'm not so sure anymore. Watching their progress from the time David Morrell started calling out David Benavidez to now. Who do I think will win? David Benavidez is the smart option because he has the driving force of the PBC behind him. This is a PBC show. They're both PBC fighters per se, but David Benavidez is more popular of a PBC fighter than David Morrell. And I think if it goes the distance and is competitive all the way through and is close to an extent, David Benavidez definitely gets it. I think David Morrell has to knock out David Benavidez to win this fight. Can he do that? I believe he can, but I haven't seen David Benavidez really being tested. I haven't seen David Morrell really tested. So, this for me is even Stevens. Even though David Morrell is a novice as a pro, he does have a decent amateur career. He hasn't got a Lomachenko or a Usyk amateur career where you're thinking, right, he's coming to the pros and he should have very hard fights, no less than 10 rounders. I mean, 3 fights in, he was fighting someone 22-0. He hasn't fought anyone with a losing record apart from his very first fight, his debut, was against someone that was 2 wins and 6 losses in. And then after that, he's fought only people with winning records, all their wins being double figures, no less than 12 wins. So he has definitely fought people that are definitely more experienced than him. He just hasn't fought David Benavidez. I don't think David Benavidez is the monster that everybody makes him out to be. Even though I think he's a decent fighter, I don't think he's a great fighter, and I think he's definitely beatable. Do I think David Morrell would beat him in this fight? I really don't know. He really has to get his respect and he has to stop him. He has to stop David Benavidez. And where I think David Benavidez's pride will push through, I don't think he will actually stop him, but he has to really put a definite good beating on David Benavidez to get the win. My prediction is David Benavidez to win on points is the safe option, but I'm just going to go for the David Morrell knockout. Show me that you can knock out this guy because you've been running him down, calling him out for about 2-3 years now. So let's make it happen. You're going to knock him out. I want to see it. I'm going to predict for David Morrell to knock out David Benavidez. So that's what I'm going for. Mid to late stoppage for David Morrell. Victory over David Benavidez. That's what I think. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in the next video.